Welcome, one and all, to the Hammer Territory Podcast. It is a pleasure to be with you once again. And Stephen, it is always good to be with you after a Braves victory. But not only a Braves victory, Stephen. Let's break this down real quickly here before we get into the details. It's a Braves victory where the offense was on fire. It was a Braves victory where Grant Holmes was dominant for much of the game. And it was a Braves victory in which Wiley Ballard was spitting game like crazy in the stands. So wherever you were in the ballpark, anybody associated with the Braves was either on their game or spitting game, and it was awesome to see. Stephen, always a pleasure to be with you. Go Braves, man. Big victory tonight in Toronto.
Yeah, they needed it. It was a rough series in Tampa. The offense did start to show life, which was great. And that continued tonight, of course, and without Ozuna too, which is big. Everybody scored, including the broadcasters. If you missed it, Wiley Ballard had a pretty funny segment where he got a phone number live on air, which was incredible. I tweeted that if that's the moment that this season turns around, he's going to go down in Braves history. I mean, it's just legendary stuff. But yeah, really fun game. Like early offense. Like it's not one of these things where we had to wait around for 5 innings while they got no hit. Like boom, immediately out of the gate, 2-run homer in the first, 2-run homer in the second, 4-0 lead. Grant Holmes looked incredible. It was just like an easy win. Like it was a stress-free win, which any kind of win has been hard to find these days, but a stress-free win has been damn near impossible. So yeah, a lot of fun, really fun. Probably maybe the most fun game of the season so far, quite honestly. And a big win because they can't fall much farther back than they are right now. So every win's a big win. Great start to this series.
Absolutely. And the timing of it could not be better, right? The timing of it being the second, I think the first game this year, the only game this year where we've really clicked as a team as a whole was the opening game of the Marlins series in which we won 10-0. Spencer Swellenbach was on the mound. But let's consider this as well. The timing of this victory, not only in terms of being a needed victory, which the Braves need all the victories they can get right now, but you're coming off that series in Tampa Bay where the offense being at the level that it was, you really expected to get at least 2 wins out of that series, but you didn't. Chris Sale struggled once again in his outing. So the Braves really needed to get a bounce back tonight, and they got it in a big way. And as we're going to discuss a little bit later on in the episode, this win really sets up the Braves to potentially get a sweep in this series. We'll discuss why in just a bit. But I think the timing of the victory, not only in terms of getting a needed win, Stephen, but it was just nice to see this team outside of that bandbox ballpark for the Rays. They were able to show once again the offense seems to be grounding into form, and Grant Holmes once again really answered the bell as being a proven member of the starting rotation.
Yeah, and listen, Toronto has not been a kind place to the Braves over the last few. Like they've had some of their worst series of the year, even on years where they won 100+ games. They've gone in Toronto and usually gotten swept, quite honestly, and looked ugly doing it. So I was not feeling great about this series, to be honest, especially when we learned that Ozuna was going to miss the whole series. You saw the lineup that got rolled out when they announced the lineup, and it was like, good Lord, like this is not the lineup I was expecting midway through April when the season started. But again, credit to the guys. Grant Holmes, I'm not even sure if it was Grant Holmes' absolute best stuff. He was hanging some pitches, at the beginning of the game, but he was getting outs. And sometimes that's better than having your best stuff. But that's encouraging that Grant Holmes could probably be even better than that. And he still pitched, into the 8th inning of this game. So huge win, huge performance. It really, if it hasn't been Spencer Swellenbach, it doesn't seem like the Braves have been able to get anything done this season. And so getting a win when he's not on the mound, but he's going to be on the mound tomorrow, it's just big. It's just massive for the offense. Get some hits with runners, some scoring position, get some homers with men on base, not just solo homers. I mean, it's just that was a massive, massive win. And I just pray to God it's the beginning of something. Maybe it's the Wiley Ballard, whatever the opposite of a curse is. The Wiley Ballard good luck charm. He's our full bucket of chicken. He's our sage, Dansby Swanson sage. His Riz is enough to get this team going. That would be tremendous because They need all the help they can get, quite honestly.
In other words, what you're saying is that if a boost from Ballard can remove the burden from the Braves, we will all benefit from it. Shout out alliteration. The thing that I'll say is this, is that when it comes to the Braves performance tonight, it's one of those games, you're shaking your head. I know that that's an admiration. You're welcome, Stephen. The thing about the Braves is tonight, Stephen, is that we have not had many of these games where as we focus, put the spotlight, the FanDuel Sports Network player spotlight, we have so many potential candidates. But let's get to the two players who are really helping this offense turn itself around. Austin Riley as well as Sean Murphy. And let's start with Sean Murphy. He's already been our FanDuel player spotlight this year already, Stephen, but he's continuing to show at the place. It could be the spectacles. It could be him being healthy. It just could be Sean Murphy ready to have a season of retribution, but he is showing that power stroke. And once again, this Braves team seems like that power is a strength of this lineup, and that will really, really be able to be sustained if Sean Murphy, I'm not saying he's going to hit 4 home runs every 6 games, but if he can get that power stroke that we saw in the first half of 2023 going again, that could be a really big boost to the middle and bottom of this Braves order.
Yeah, I mean, the spectacles, right? I mean, he got the glasses because he had an astigmatism in his eyes. I don't know why, like, that's not something we addressed beforehand. Maybe we should need to do a day where everybody on the team gets an eye test, and just knock all these out at once. Because if we need to order another 12 pair, we can. That's fine. But yeah, I mean, he looks great. I mean, the swing looks really smooth. He's hitting the ball to all parts of the field. He's driving it up the middle. It's easy to forget because he had a bad last year, but this dude just has light tower power. I mean, when this dude gets a hold of one, it goes forever. I was pissed at hell that he got hit in the arm, like his last at bat of the game. He got hit with like a 97 mile an hour fastball in the arm. So I'm really hoping there's nothing crazy that comes from that. Listen, I know people love Drake Baldwin, but the Braves can't afford to take Sean Murphy out of the lineup right now, especially without Marcell Ozuna. Like, Murph needs to play, even against right-handed pitching where you got Drake Baldwin as a lefty. It doesn't matter. You can't take Sean Murphy's got like a 230 WRC plus that's coming back. You just can't take him out of the lineup. And if that means you got to send Drake Baldwin down and call up a more traditional backup catcher, then that's what you do. But I said it at the time, the person who needs to play is the person who hits. And Sean Murphy's hitting. And the Braves can't afford to take him out of the lineup. So as long as he's not hurt from this pitch that he got hit by, I kind of want to see him play again tomorrow and see him play again Wednesday. And, I know Drake Baldwin's, development is important, but Murph's too good to take out right now. And he's, again, without Ozuna, he's batting fourth. I just, this is not the time to worry about development of one of your prospects. So yeah, Murph has been awesome. And then obviously we're going to talk about Riley.
From a splendidly spectacled Sean Murphy to an absolutely awesome Austin Riley, Stephen, again, you are welcome. Somebody must have told Austin Riley when the Braves returned home that it was July. That's, I think, what occurred, because that's the version of Riley that we've been seeing ever since he's been home, Stephen. This lineup is different when Austin Riley is on his game. We've talked about it before. At times to start the season, it seems like he gets off to these slow starts, but he's really been able to lock in, and it could not have come at a better time. 2 more home runs tonight. I think now pushing a 900 OPS overall on the season. Again, you don't expect for him to, be hitting 4 home runs every 4 to 5 games. But the thing about it is this, is that we have seen, as much as we haven't really talked about it as much, but yes, at one point, we talk about the fact that we would love for Austin Riley to be a bit more consistently elite as a hitter. But we've also seen plenty of proof that he could be an MVP level type threat in the lineup. That's where he is right now in a ballpark like Toronto. And if he can come back home like this is the type of performance from Austin Riley that can turn the season around and really help this offense get the Braves some wins.
Yeah, I mean, that's what makes these long stretches of ineffectiveness so frustrating, is because, this guy's got unreal talent. I mean, just look at his batted ball stuff, like his swing speed, his batted ball data, like it's all elite. Like, he's got a really fast bat. He hits the ball crazy hard. He was crushing baseballs tonight. Like, he's got all of the raw skills you need to be an elite hitter. And we've seen him do it. And so that's what makes these kind of low points so frustrating. And tonight he was on. And not only was he on, but he was on when guys were on base. And that's honestly been the biggest key for the Braves so far, is that even when they get homers, no one's on base. And when there are guys on base, everybody strikes out. And so not only to see Austin go off, but to go off with a 2-run homer and a 3-run homer, to really change the scoreboard, where those big swings are not just 2 runs, they're 5 runs, and they bust the game wide open. And that's what the Braves have been missing. And I think coming into the game, Austin had 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. And tonight he had 2 home runs and 5. I mean, he literally almost doubled his season production tonight. His numbers look way better. The good thing about being early in the season is it does not take much of a hot stretch to get your numbers back to where they should be. Ozzie got a little bit of that in the series in Tampa. Austin, Matt Olson needs like 1 or 2 games where some of these rocket line drives fall, and his numbers are going to look normal again. But yeah, great game from Austin. That's what the Braves need more than anything. When you got guys on base, do damage and change the scoreboard. Crooked numbers, not just solo homers here and there. Crooked numbers, 3-4 run innings, makes all the pain go away, makes all the sadness go away. I'm not going to use alliteration because we've had enough of that already, but yeah, it's been awesome to see.
We're just getting started with the alliteration, Stephen. But the thing that I'll say is this, is that going into that second game in Tampa, the game that the Braves won, they had the solo home runs. And then I believe Sean Murphy, did he hit the go-ahead? No, it was Michael Harris who hit the 2-run homer to put the Braves ahead. Before that Harris homer, the Braves had hit 14 home runs in the season. 11 of them had been solo. But now their last 4 home runs are all 2 or more runs. They're with runners on base. That's what we need to see more of. And if you want to see more of the Braves, make sure you check out the message below. FanDuel Sports Network Player Spotlight. We talked about Sean Murphy. We talked about Austin Riley. Whoever your favorite Braves player is, use code baseball30 at FanDuelSportsNetwork.com/packages, and you can catch all the early action in the season when it comes to the Braves.
You can now stream Braves games through FanDuel Sports Network, and if you use the promo code baseball30, that's promo code baseball30, you can start it off with a 30-day extended free trial at FanDuelSportsNetwork.com/packages. That is FanDuelSportsNetwork.com/packages. Promo code baseball30. Offer expires 5/2/25, $19.99 a month after free trial. Cancel during free trial to avoid charges. Eligibility restrictions apply. Visit FanDuelSportsNetwork.com for details.
While Stephen may be frustrated and tired of my absolutely astute and awesome application of alliteration, the thing that I'll say is this is what we are not tired of talking about.
Do you have this stuff written down somewhere?
No.
Is this all coming off the top of your head?
No, yeah, no, it comes off.
It's incredible.
This
is a Wiley Ballard level performance.
I know. I just, some of us got game. We got to show it somewhere.
Incredible.
But the thing that I'll say is this: alliteration to the side, at least for now. Let's talk about another big performance of the night, and that was Grant Holmes. Now, on Sunday, Stephen, we saw that A.J. Smith-Shawver was sent down to the minors. Michael Peterson came up. I'm sure that's going to be a multiple series of moves there, and Bummer already back when Michael Peterson sent back down to the minors. I bring that up because A.J. Smith-Shawver eventually may be coming back to the rotation. But the thing that I will say is this, is that right there shows that we're still continuing to see some maneuvering when it comes to really putting a stable rotation together. But one big development so far this year, especially with the struggles of Chris Sale, is that Grant Holmes is establishing himself as a stable member of this rotation. Yet another big outing, maybe his most impressive outing so far of the season in terms of durability, as well as, one of the longer outings of his career. Stephen, if this Braves team, I don't need for him to sit here and throw shutout ball 5 or 6 innings every single game. That would be a hard ask. But at the very least, I do say this. I feel confident that Grant Holmes can put the Braves in a position to win 70 to 75% of the time with a 5 to 6 inning performance outing. He's efficient. I feel like that he's going to continue to get smarter when it comes to the usage of his pitches. It was a really good opportunity to see him perform well. The Blue Jays lineup may not be murderer's row, but they have been pretty successful so far this year. A really good outing once again from Grant Holmes.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's your 4th starter, and he's got an ERA like in the mid-3s. And, the peripherals are a little higher than that. It's probably not his true baseline talent level. My guess is he's going to end in the year around a 4, low 4 ERA guy. But that's what you need. You just need a guy that keeps you in games. And again, I don't think Grant had his best stuff tonight. He had 4 strikeouts, which is kind of low for him over almost 8 innings. But he didn't walk a lot of guys, and that's been a little bit of his problem. He's had a couple of high walk games. He only had 2 walks tonight. So the command was better. He does have good stuff. I mean, the 96-mile-an-hour fastball, he's got a good curveball. The slider has been better. So you can see it. Like, it's not just all smoke and mirrors. Like, we watched Bryce Elder do this a couple of years ago, and it really felt like a Houdini act every night. Like, how in the hell is this happen? Like, he throws 90 right down the middle, and some reason nobody's hitting it. This is not that. There's actually some real talent, some real signal to all the noise of early in the season. So, we talked about it before, but if everybody has done their job as well as Grant Holmes has done his job as the Braves 4th starter, then this team would be a lot better off. He's outpitched Chris Sale. He obviously Ronaldo went down pretty early, but Grant's been the second best pitcher on the team, at least the starter. So it's been huge. And even if it doesn't continue at this level, just what he's given the Braves until Spencer Strider got back was very helpful. And yeah, big game tonight. Honestly, just saving the bullpen. They only had to have 1 reliever pitch tonight. And that's because Grant Holmes was so good. And yeah, he got a little lucky. He had some rockets hit right at people. A couple of balls that if they were pulled either direction, they would have been homers. But I'll take it. I mean, we'll take anything we can get at this point. And I think he'll have better games in terms of strikeouts. But you can't argue with almost 8 innings of work in a game. He kept his pitch count real low. That's the big thing about not walking people is you can get deeper into games because you're not, he's been at like 104 pitches in the 4th inning because he's been walking so many guys. So not walking guys allowed him to pitch deeper in this game. And that's big. That's kind of his big key is the command. The strikeouts are going to be there. The stuff is good enough, but the command's got to be there too. And tonight it was, and you saw what he did.
Stephen, speaking of someone who is stepping up and taking advantage of the opportunities that they have by contributing, value. I was looking on Twitter earlier today, not while I was at work, when I was on my lunch break. But the thing that I'll say is I was looking on Twitter earlier today, and I came across an interesting perspective. It was showing the worst performing hitters so far this year. And I looked, and it was the top 15. And I was looking, and I was like, okay, Orlando Arcia has got to be on this list. But he was not. And then I realized it was because it was a list of qualified hitters. Orlando Arcia is not qualified yet to be in that position. And the reason why is the topic of a next discussion, Nick Allen. Nick Allen is now the starting shortstop for the Atlanta Braves. Solid in the field, but the big thing to me is his consistency at the plate. Not necessarily that he's performing like a superstar. It's just each and every game he does something positive. Got a run tonight. It started off a bit of a rally in the 3rd game of the Tampa series on Sunday. He just consistently is able to put together decent to good at-bats, puts the ball in play. It's really fun to see. I don't think that he's the long-term shortstop or anything when it comes to the Atlanta Braves, but I think that right now he's offering more positives than negatives. And when this offense is going like it is right now, Stephen, that is more than you can ask for when it comes to the shortstop position. It's good to see Nick Allen take advantage of the opportunity, and I think that going forward in this season, he's the starter for the Braves.
I would hope so. We still don't have official confirmation of that, but like he's just been playing more and more and more, and Arcia has been playing less and less and less. And listen, Orlando's been awful. Like Orlando's been awful in every phase. Like even his defense has been poor. His range is really, really limited. He's a big guy. He's a slow guy. Eventually his range was going to just go away. And, that's the one thing about Allen is that he is a truly, really good defensive shortstop. He's got good range. He's got good speed. He's got good athleticism. Listen, he's running a 420 batting average on balls in play right now. Like this, he's not actually this good of a hitter. It's going to come crashing down at some point. And I don't think he's the long-term answer either. But he's a real defender at short. He's got good speed. He had another stolen base tonight. I think he's got 4 on the year. I mean, it takes Orlando Arcia a decade to get 4 stolen bases. So, just having another athlete in the lineup, somebody who's got some speed, again, somebody who can actually play real defense at short, he's got good, good range, a good arm. I would just prefer it be him. I'm not under the impression that he's actually this good of a hitter. There's a little smoke and mirror to this. Let's be honest. He's not going to hit. He's got like a 115 WRC plus right now. That's not his talent level. He's much lower than that. But even when the regression comes, he still does things that Orlando doesn't. And speed and defense, at this point, Orlando's just not the same defender. And if Orlando's not catching the ball, he literally does nothing. I mean, he provides nothing. So, yeah, you just got to keep running Allen out there. I would love for them to get a long-term answer at shortstop at some point. We've literally been asking for it since Dansby left, basically, 3 years ago. And we'll see if they finally address the position in a more long-term answer, at the trade deadline or in the winter. But right now, you got to roll with Nick Allen. You do. I mean, every time I look at the lineup, it's the first thing I look at is Orlando playing or is Allen playing. And going forward, it just needs to be Allen.
Yeah, speaking of looking at the lineup, and kudos to Nick Allen for taking advantage of the opportunity. And again, as you mentioned, even if that regressing comes back, it's something that Alex Anthopoulos has always put value on his defense. And he may now have Nick Allen. Dansby probably was a bit better, in his best days with the Braves, but Nick Allen, I think, is a serviceable shortstop when it comes to mainly his value being in defense. But at the end of the day, ride the wave until you can't ride it anymore. But you mentioned looking at the lineup, and one big thing that was really odd, Stephen, when looking at the lineup was the absence, someone who was not there, and that was Marcell Ozuna. Of course, for those, who may not have watched, too much of the weekend games, it appeared on Saturday at the end of the game that Marcell Ozuna tweaked something on his leg. He pulled up a bit limp. Many, astute observers who were watching the Braves game, they were asking about it, asking Mark Bowman, others about it as well. And then it was evident on Sunday, he pulled up pretty limp. I believe on his last at bat about the 6th or 7th, and he was pulled from the game. After that, it was speculative, what was going on with him. And so we got news on Monday that it seems like he's dealing with some type of hip ailment. They sent him back to Atlanta to get an MRI. Initial results from tests that they didn't leave him too concerned. They think it's just a minor ailment that may be dealing with his hip, but he is out for the Toronto series. So a lot of outcomes could still be out there. You're hoping, obviously, that it, is a minor opportunity. Kudos to the Braves for just, getting it checked out, getting it addressed. But without a doubt, as good as the offense is, there's a different level when Marcell Ozuna is in it, especially since he's been our best hitter so far this year. An absence that's going to be felt no matter how good this offense is. You hope he's back soon.
Yeah, the report I saw said he had inflammation in his hip. I'll be honest, I don't know what that means. I don't know how serious that is. But yeah, you could tell on Sunday. I mean, you could tell on Saturday that something was wrong. And listen, 100% healthy, Marcell runs like a rose bush. So if he's got something going on with his hip or his leg, it's, he might as well just walk. It's kind of what he's doing. So yeah, you got to get that checked out. You don't want it to be something that affects you for the long term of the season. So it sucks right now, even with Ronald out, and obviously Profar is still out, and now you got Ozuna out. Like, we're dipping into the depths of this lineup, which after the starting 9 didn't have a lot of depth to begin with. So it's not great. The fact that they're going to be without him for the entire series sucks. He's one of their best hitters. Obviously, he's been their best hitter on the team this year. But Riley and Murphy stepping up tonight. I mean, Murphy stepped up since he's been back, but Riley stepping up tonight. That's a good sign that, somebody else can pick up the weight that Marcell left. I just hope it's not serious. Hips can be tricky, and I've seen guys miss a lot of times with hips. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen with Marcell. They didn't seem overly concerned about it. So if they're not concerned, I'm not concerned. But Marcell's not the youngest guy in the world, and he's already lost quite a bit of his athleticism he had in his youth, and hips can be tricky. So this is one I'm going to watch pretty closely to see if this ends up being a 15-day or 10-day IL trip. How quickly he gets back and what they're saying publicly about it, because I am a little worried about this, if I'm being honest.
Absolutely. And it's another thing where, the best outcome may be that 10 or 15 day absence to ensure, because it's one of those type of injuries that even if it gets taken care of now, could pop up later in the season. You'd rather get it done now with minimal chance of it reoccurring than see it continue to go. But listen, plenty of exciting stuff going on in the game. A bit of concern when it comes to, Marcel. Hopefully he will be back sooner rather than later. But I cannot stress enough how excited I am when it comes to this next segment of Talking Braves Baseball. But the thing is, we'll get right to it right after a word from our partners.
Todd Father, I'm looking for premium clothes at an affordable price. I want it to fit nice. I want it to make all the features that we want to point out look nice. And I want softness.
Yes.
What do I do?
You hit up True Classic. I mean, these shirts that I have on right now, not only is it fitting and it's soft, it makes my arms look a little bigger too as well. The comfort is all I ask for in clothing, and that's the biggest part. And this is what they have. The jeans are comfortable too as well. Everything that you put on right now from True Classic is special. It's something I'm going to buy in all different colors.
It's 100% perfect fit guarantee, easy returns, free shipping on all orders. And whether you're bundling up for the cold or you're getting ready for spring, you can level up your style with clothes that actually fit right. Just go to the FT exclusive link. That's trueclassic.com/foul to save. trueclassic.com/foul. Shop now and elevate your wardrobe today with trueclassic.com/foul.
So, Stephen Tolbert, I don't think that anybody that could argue that tonight was a victory full of vibes at a very valuable time when it comes to the Braves. It was absolutely awesome. But the theme of the night, to your disgust, has certainly been alliteration. Correct? That's the theme for the night. Have you asked yourself why, though? Have you asked yourself why I put such an emphasis on alliteration? And Stephen Tolbert, I'm going to give you the floor. Why have I been so focused on alliteration when it comes to the Braves over the next few days?
It did take me a minute early in the show to put this together, where you were going with this. I did, I don't claim to be the smartest person in the world. I did eventually figure out that we have the Spencer S. and Spencer S. show coming up in the next 2 days for the first time ever. Spencer Strider and Spencer Swellenbach have ever pitched in the same rotation, and they're pitching back-to-back days, same city. And so, yes, I did pick it up. The alliteration is in honor of our next two starting pitchers.
Absolutely. And I'm throwing that all to the side. Listen, the whole point of this is to have fun, but it's going to be fun. And I want to sit here and emphasize with excitement how absolutely ecstatic I am. Okay, I'm done with it. To watch the next 2 days, because Spencer Swellenbach and Spencer Strider are pitching back-to-back days. Stephen, we are talking about, and I am here to tell you with full confidence, we are talking about a duo that could eventually be a top 3 duo in all of baseball if they can get healthy. That is the potential. We've already seen it over the past year from Swellenbach. We've seen it in 2023 into late 2022 into early 2003 in Spencer Strider. We finally have them together to go along with Chris Sale, but it is going to be so exciting to be able to know that they are going to be 2/5 of our rotation, and it could not come at a better time. When I talk about the timing of tonight's victory, this victory coming before we have Spencer Swellenbach and Spencer Strider on the mound to potentially get a sweep, that cannot come at a better time for the Braves. It's going to be awesome to see, starting with Swellenbach tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm so excited. I mean, listen, Spencer Swellenbach days have been the best days of the season so far, bar none. There's not even a close second. So every day he pitches is an event. He's already really jumped up like Cy Young conversations, Cy Young odds. Listen, it's early. I get that. But, people have noticed how good this guy is. And so that's one. Of course, you're always excited to see Spencer Swellenbach. But we haven't seen Spencer Strider pitch in a major league game in over a year. It was almost exactly 12 months ago. It was a little more than 12 months ago that he left that start. And we haven't seen him since. And, he was destroying AAA hitters in Gwinnett. I'm sure they put a collection plate together to have him ship his ass back to the majors so they could stop having to hit him. I can't wait to see Spencer Strider pitch again in the majors. I'm very curious to, get some of the numbers that we get on StatCast when guys pitch in the majors. I want to see some of the spin stuff, some of the velocity stuff, just see where he's at baseline, not to overreact to one start, just to get a baseline. Where is he at right now? And then, yeah, I mean, you could eventually have Spencer Swallenbach, you could have Spencer Strider, you could have Sale, you could have Smith Shawver. You know, that is a solid group of starters, if you will. You know, a solid group of starters. And I don't love the fact that they sent AJ Smith Shawver down for Bryce Elder. We're not going to litigate that right now. This segment's more about Strider and Swallenbach. But the Braves need these guys to be good. They've already had enough, you know, damage to the rotation with Ronaldo. I don't want to see a lot of Bryce Elder. I need Spencer Strider. I need Spencer Swallenbach back in my life. And tomorrow we get them, or the next 2 days we get them both. And that's awesome. That is grade A excitement level for Braves fans.
And the whole thing is, as we wrap up this edition of the Hammer Territory podcast that I want to end on, Stephen, is that we're still early enough in the season to where we're searching for that turning point, right? We thought maybe it was that first Marlins game with Swellenbach on the mound. We thought perhaps that it was, you know, the second game of the Tampa Bay series when we hit those 4 home runs. Perhaps this is it. And this seems to be the best setup. Again, the victory tonight. You get Swellenbach on the mound tomorrow. You get Strider on the mound on Wednesday. You know that you've got the advantage in those 2 games. If you at least win one, hopefully both of them, then you're now, 7-11. Much better position than you have been. But you also think to yourself, we just got Strider back. Eventually, Ozuna is going to come back. Eventually, Acuna is going to come back. Profar will be back at some point in time too, though I know that you can't put too much stock in him this year. But just think about, we're 2 days away with reasonable expectations of being in a pretty good position with some significant talent coming back to our team. That's a good perspective to look at. At some point, I am fully confident the Braves are going to turn these potential perspectives into actual reality. And I think that this is the best opportunity. And you know that they are ready to seize the moment, especially with Swellenbach on the mound and Strider after him.
Yeah. And listen, there are reports, nothing confirmed yet, but there are reports that Alex Verdugo might be joining the team tomorrow. There were reports that he might join the team today, but Toronto threw a lefty today. So, you know, they'd throw in 2 righties. I will say Toronto's throwing probably 2 of their best pitchers tomorrow. And Wednesday, they're throwing Kevin Gausman and Chris Bassett. So it's not going to be easy to win these games, even with Strider and Swellenbach back, or Swellenbach and then Strider back. So the offense has got to keep going, right? I really hope Sean Murphy's fine. I've actually been scrolling Twitter to see if there was any update on Murph. But, yeah, I would not take him out of the lineup as long as he's good. We need Austin Riley. We need Matt Olson. You know, we just need without Ozuna, you need your big bats. You need your middle of the order guys. I'll be curious to see if Verdugo comes up tomorrow, who he comes up for, if Kelnick goes down, if they DFA Fairchild, what they end up doing. But yeah, you're right. I mean, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Now that Strider's back, Ozuna will come back, Acuna will come back. Eventually Profar will come back. Eventually we'll get far enough into the season where we can actually start talking about real trades to address the bullpen, which I think might be the biggest issue on this team. Long term, I know that's not been the biggest issue of the team to start with, but I think long term it might be. So that might have to be addressed. But if you can just get going a little bit, and the offense being the normal offense would help a lot. So tonight was a great sign. Yeah, and I can't wait. Can't wait for tomorrow. Can't wait for Wednesdays, especially with Strider back, and just see where we are. You know, I don't want to freak out over one start. It might be a bad start. He hasn't pitched in the majors in 12 months. It might be a horrible start, but just having him back, setting a baseline for where he is, that is the exciting part.
Well, after tonight's victory, I hope everybody listening in Braves country has a swell of a day tomorrow with Swellenbach on the mound. And if he can get the job done, you can stride on into work on Wednesday with a smile on your face with Spencer Strider going for a sweep on Wednesday. It has been absolutely awesome. The happiest man in America right now is Stephen Tolbert from experiencing this podcast with me. Stephen, besides the appreciation that you have for me right now, anything else that you want to say to wrap up this edition of the Hammer Territory podcast?
That was beautiful. That was unbelievable. Yeah, great win. You and I have actually got to do a couple wins, which is, not a given considering they've only got 5 of them. So fun podcast. I love talking about wins. I love talking about awesome performances. I love watching Austin Riley just destroy baseballs, especially when there's 2 or 3 guys on. That is music to my soul. And watching the Braves just get an easy win tonight it's just so much fun when this team is playing the way they should play. And it makes it so much more frustrating when they don't. So here's to the Braves. Use this. I don't think they've won 2 games in a row all year. So
you know what the key is? The last time that we talked about this last week, it was hashtag bring it home for Brad.
That's right.
We're going to go hashtag bring 2 home for Brad, because then that means on Wednesday that he'll be able to podcast about 2 straight victories. Hashtag bring 2 home for Brad. Make it go viral, Braves country.
Yeah. Our next podcast will be on Wednesday after the game, and it'll be Scott and Brad. So it would be awesome to not only win 2 in a row, but to win 3 in a row for the first time this year and really actually get on a roll. That's the next goal. The offense has shown life. The rotation has shown life. But now let's actually get on a roll, start stacking some wins, get back to 500, and then we can really get going on this season. And great win tonight. Here's to 2 more in the next 2 days.
Absolutely. And we can't thank you enough again for all of our listeners. I know that it has not been that fun of a start to the season, but the struggles so far make successes like tonight even more fun to talk about and to, just be able to experience. Can't thank you enough for supporting Hammer Territory. You can find myself, Shawn Coleman, at StatsSEC on Twitter /X. You can find Stephen Tolbert at @B_Outliers. Hammer Territory all across social media, part of the Foul Territory family of podcasts. Absolutely wonderful lineup of podcasts when it comes to the Foul Territory family of podcasts. You can find all the great content, including the flagship show Foul Territory, wherever you enjoy streaming podcasts, however you enjoy your baseball content. For Stephen Tolbert, my name is Shawn Coleman. Go Braves! We'll talk to you again next time here on the Hammer Territory podcast.